Okay, welcome to lecture. Today we are going to start our course. The course name is Flexible AC Transmission System and Power Quality. First of all, we will look toward what is the course description and course objective. Flexible AC transmission system is one aspect of power electronics revolution that take place in all area of electrical power system and energy. As we know that because of electronic devices, turn on and turn off has become very simple as compared to the mechanical operation, which may lead to the heavy sparking over the contacts. As you have already learned in the power electronics, what are the different application of power electronics in the power system as well as in electrical engineering. So fact is one of the revolution in power electronics in conjunction with the transmission line, which may modify the electrical characteristic of existing transmission line to increase the control, enhance controllability and stability of the power system. At the same time, this electronic devices increase or enhance the capacity, power handling capacity of the existing transmission line. So the three major points, one is the controllability, second is the stability, and third is the power handling capacity of the existing transmission line can be enhanced with the help of electronic devices. And that devices is called as the FACT devices. Flexible AC means we are modifying the electrical characteristic of the existing transmission line. Therefore, the name becomes a flexible trace AC transmission system. And no doubt it is used in the AC transmission or EHV transmission. Therefore, it is much more effective is going to, because our existing transmission system is a AC transmission system, and therefore it is very much useful in the existing era. The course also explore the power quality issues. What are the different say load? What are the different type of load which introduce the harmonics or distortion in the power system, and what are the mitigation methods? So these are the description. This is the some course description and objective of our course. What is the outcome? After completion of this course, the student will able to understand the basic knowledge of extra high voltage transmission line, power transfer ability of the existing transmission line, and identify the different factor controller in the existing transmission line to enhance the power handling capacity, stability, and controllability in the complex interconnected power system. Because our system is highly interconnected nowadays. We will see one by one what is the power grid interconnections are there. Second outcome is that understand the concept of shunt compensator, its location in transmission network, and able to select the appropriate VAR control techniques. Since we are going to utilize there are two type of FACT devices. One is connected in the shunt and second is going to connect in the series. So what would be the proper location? It's a control method in the transmission system. Next, analyze the characteristic of series compensator, that is the series factor controller, and able to solve the engineering problems because we are transferring the power from generating ends to the load end. Next, understand the source and type of harmonic and their impact in the power system. What are the sources and the what are the different loads are there, linear load and non-linear load. Those are responsible to produce the harmonics or distortion in the power system, and their impact, what are their impact in the power system. And fifth outcome is to understand and analyze the effect of harmonic in the power system and some mitigation techniques to be utilized to overcome this power quality issues. The syllabus is comprises of 5 unit or 5 say section. First section is the different type of fact controllers, their operation or some basic idea of the fact controller, and say what are the advantage of fact controller, what is the scope of fact controller in the existing transmission line, and the comparison of HVDC and EHV transmission line. And the second section is comprises of shunt controller, that is a fact devices, those are connected in shunt. It's a control and location. Similarly, the third section or third unit is comprises of series fact devices. Its location, definitely similar to the shunt comparator, location, control, and concept of the line length compensation of the transmission line. The fourth unit is comprises of different type of load. Those are responsible for introducing harmonic in the existing system. Type of harmonics, some say like voltage sag, voltage swell. This is a power quality, different power quality issues. And in the fifth unit, analysis and some mitigation methods are discussed in the fifth unit. So these are the this is the some overview of our syllabus, and the books for that subject for the fact devices or fact controller. Understanding of Fact by Hingorani. It's a IEEE publication. And for the power quality, Surjit Chattopadhyay, it's a power quality. Name of book is a power quality. So this is the some basic of course description. What is the description and objective, outcome of the course, and syllabus overview. Now, as a first lecture, we will take some basic review of power system, interconnections, and all these things are there. So what is the learning objective? Why is the power system interconnected? Second, what is the concept of reliability? What is the more, why is it is more economical to interconnect a power system as compared to the single power system supplying power to the local load area? And identifying the major elements of the practical interconnected power system. And next is the opportunities for fact devices in India. So for that purpose, what I want to share one PPT. So this is the one very good PPT. I have attended one workshop in MNIT Bhopal, where the resource person came from the Energy Exchange of India. Similar to the share market, there is a energy exchange market also there, energy exchange. So it is a power exchange in India. See here, this is in the 70s. In the 70s, this is the grid, or this is the transmission line which is connected. Now in the 80s, the more number of transmission lines are connected. It means that the different generating stations, they are interconnected to each other. And earlier we have 5 grid or 5 zones are there. See here, it is in the north zone. west zone, south zone, and east zone. And there are 5 different regional grids and 5 frequencies are there. It is very much necessary to maintain the same frequency in the interconnected system or grid system. So here there are 5 grids are there. So 5 frequencies are there. So one is the north zone, east zone, west zone, south zone, and northeast zone are there. After in 1991, these two zones are merged to each other. So east zone and northeast zone, so it has a one frequency, whereas so there are total 4 zones are there. And in March 2003, out of 4, there is only 3 zones are there. In the central India, there is a 1 zone, and 1 zone is in the north and 1 zone in the south. And in 2006, only 2 zones are there. One is the new grids, which is from the central area India to the north region, and south region is different. No doubt, all these power plants are connected to each other to make the one grid. It has some advantage. We are going to discuss one by one. Just we want to see what are the different zones are there in India. Okay, and what is the generation facilities and where is the load center. So if you know the load center and generation center, definitely it is very much useful to understand the this our course, that is a fact application of facts are there. See, this is again we are considering the 5 zone. North zone, the protocol of the north zone is a deficit region because there is a snowfall, runoff river hydropower plant, because we are going to generate the electrical energy during the when the river flows. Definitely in the most of the area there is a snowfall, and in the summer only the water is going to flow into the river, so there is a runoff river hydropower plants are there, and this load is weather sensitive. In the like in this December and all this area, all this period, there is a large amount of energy is going to utilize for heating purposes, and whereas in the summer region the load will be smaller. So it is a weather sensitive loads are there. In the northeast region, low load because industrials are not so high over there, so industrial load is low. So low load and high hydro potential because it is a some hilly area, so number of micro hydro power plants are is there. But there is a problem of evacuation, means whatever the generations are there, it is more than the requirement of load, but it is difficult to evacuate or difficult to transmit to the region where load requirement is low, higher one. So difficult to erect the transmission line, as well as the length of the transmission line is very large. So there is a wheeling charges and the losses definitely large. So this region is a low load, high hydro potential area, but evacuation of the energy is problem. East region is again is a load is smaller as compared to the other region, high coal reserve. Here in this area, the reservoir, the coal reserves are very much high, means the thermal power plant scope of the thermal power plant is very large, but again the evacuation and transmission become costly. Whereas in this region, industrial and agriculture loads are very much high. You know that in the Mumbai, Pune, Nasik and all this area, industrialization is very large, so the load comparatively very high. And at the same time, in this area, agriculture pumps are very much necessary for the agriculture crops. So here agriculture load as well as industrial load is appreciably high as compared to the northeast region and east region. Similarly, in the south region, again there is a large number of loads, say industrialization also there, and agriculture load also very high. So this is some situation in India, while considering the load and transmission, this one. Now see, under this cluster diagram, we found that somewhere there is a demand pockets are there and somewhere generation pockets are there. So as in this area, which we have already discussed, the generation pockets are there. Here we can generate more energy because of the micro hydropower plants. We can generate more energy because of the coal pits and coal mines are there. Water are available, but load is not there in this region. Whereas load is available in the north region, because here in the winter season, runoff river plant is not going to work, whereas the heating load are very high. Similarly, in the Rajasthan, Gujarat and Maharashtra, load is very high. So this is the demand pocket and this is the generation pockets. And to transmit the energy from generating station to the load center, the distance is very high. So when the distance is very high, either we have to go for the EHV transmission line, but EHV transmission line has some limitation, and that limitation is going to overcome with the help of FACT devices. So this is the opportunity of the FACT devices to use FACT devices in the EHV transmission line to increase controllability, stability, and power handling capacity of existing transmission line. Okay, so this is the major contribution of FACT devices. The second method is to transmit with the help of HVDC transmission line. It is good to transmit large amount of power with more than 800 kilometers. And the second advantage is that we can connect a two generating station and two area asynchronous with the asynchronous time. Here, the frequency matching is not a big issue. Therefore, the two different frequency area can be connected with the HVDC transmission line. Okay, so this is the some basic requirement to understand the subject FACT devices. Now again we will come back to the same earlier our sheet. So why is power system is interconnected? We know that if suppose you just consider our in Maharashtra itself, there are different type of generating stations are there. Thermal plants are there, hydropower plants, gas power plant, nuclear power plants are there. If you consider the cost of generation, the cost of generation for the hydropower plant is smaller as compared to the nuclear power plant, gas power plant, as well as thermal power plant. So if we are feeding the power, if the generating station feeding the power to the local area, for example, Koina generating station feeding the power nearby area, so the cost of generation will be smaller and the cost of energy for the such area for the such type of consumer is smaller. Whereas the energy supplied by thermal power plant, it may be from Paras, it may be from Bhusawal, the cost of energy is very high and the customer has to pay more energy cost for their requirement. But if you connect a number of generating station, the cost of generation decreases, which already you have might learn in the power system operation and control, economic generation and economic dispatch of the power from the interconnected system. So the interconnected system is mostly used for reliability and economical point of view. So reliability and economics are the main reason for the interconnection of the power system. So this is a very important points. Reliability, if the single area supplying power to the local load area, if there is a failure in the power plant or maybe in the transmission line or some failure in the protection devices, definitely entire area goes into the dark. So to maintain the power at any cost, we are going to connect different power station together with the help of EHV transmission line, or it may be HVDC transmission line and so on, which we are going to learn over here. To maintain the reliability and stability of the system, interconnection is necessary. Second is the very important, that is the economic point of view. If you connect a different power plant together, the cost of generation will be smaller as compared to the independent power plant. Again, when we are connecting the different power plant, the reserve capacity is going to reduce, because it is not possible to keep same capacity of generator everywhere as a reserve capacity. And whereas when we are connecting a different generating station, it is possible to keep one generators as a reserve capacity, because there is a rarely happens that 2 or 3 generating plants goes in the maintenance or in the some failure system. So as an economic point of view, installation point of view, economic point of view, interconnection is very much necessary and useful. In a single word, we can say that interconnection is a best mutual assistance to each other. Every generating plant assisting to each other. In the rainy season, thermal power plant may bring for the its annual maintenance, and similarly in the dry season, in the say summer season, one may do maintenance over the hydropower plant. So there is a proper thermal hydro coordination to reduce the generation cost and to maintain the base load. As we know that energy supply needed, generating station has to supply 24-hour supply to 24 hours to the consumer. So it is much necessary, the base load. Hence, in our region, base load is supplied by the thermal power plant, whereas the peak load is going to supply by water storage hydropower plants, or the plant which can be start quickly and stop quickly for 2 or 3 hours. So in this way, by proper coordination in the thermal power plants and hydropower plants and different power plants, interconnection is necessary. So this is the this is the answer for the first questions. Now, what are the different regions in the generating state, generation and synchronous grid? The region has a large interconnected network in the country, like comprising of state of Chhattisgarh, Goa, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh. Again, including some union territory, which is installed capacity of 31.5 gigawatt, where 13.8 is the hydro generation and 66% is the thermal power plant. 15% is the gas or liquid fuels which we are using. 2.4% is the nuclear, and wind energy is 1.9%. So see here, because for the load power, for the base load, it is very much necessary to run our thermal power plants. So 66% is the thermal energy, and we need the coal. The generation is owned by the state electricity or NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, or NPC, that is the Nuclear Power Corporation. And there are some independent or private energy producers are there. So what are the generation? The western region has a major generating station like Koraba Thermal Power Plant. The capacity is 2,100 megawatt. Vidyanchal in MP also. And Sanjay Gandhi, Chandrapur Thermal Power Plant, Amarkanta Thermal Power Plants. And similarly, the hydropower plant in this region is Koyna, is a higher capacity in Maharashtra, Bansagar, Ukai, and Tata Power. So these are the hydropower plants. And earlier, which we have discussed, these are the thermal hydropower plant, thermal power plants, and these are the hydropower plant. The major load center in the regions are located in the west part of the region, which we have already discussed with the help of India map. There is some cluster of generation pockets, and there is some cluster of say load pockets are there. So loads in the western region, and whereas eastern region has a more generation capacity, or there is some scope for the power generation. Therefore, we have to transmit the bulk amount of power from generating station to the load center, and therefore 400 kV system, 400 kV transmission line systems are erected in the 3 corridors. Means it is a 3 major transmission lines are there. The upper corridors links Vindhyachal, Itarsi via Satna, Bina, Bhopal. So there is a one transmission line. Second transmission line or second evacuation facilities which is available by the 400 kV transmission line is from Korba to Bhilai, Raipur, and it is bifurcated into middle and lower corridors. There are 2 corridors in this second section. The middle corridors links in Bhilai, Kuradi, Bhusawal, Bhumeshwar, and Padge, Kalwa. It is in Mumbai. Kalwa has Padge has a local load dispatch center and second load dispatch center in Nagpur. Okay, and the third corridor consists of Raipur, Chandrapur, Parli, Karad, and Kalwa. So again, these 2 middle goes to the Padge and Kalwa substations are there. One from Bhilai and Kuradi, and second from Chandrapur, Raipur, and Chandrapur via Parli. So Parli has one more thermal power plant. So 400 kV transmission lines are there. The upper and middle corridors are interlinked by 400 kV transmission network in Itarsi and Bhilai. Similarly, the line is connected from Itarsi to Dhule. We know that in nearby, we have a 400 kV substation, one in the Bhusawal and second in the Dhule. So the upper and middle corridors are interconnected. These 2 corridors, which we have already discussed, they are interconnected by a 400 kV transmission line through Itarsi Dhule link and Vindhyachal thermal power, Koraba thermal power links. Further north, Madhya Pradesh loads are fed from the 400 kV Vindhyachal Satna Bina link and 400 kV Itarsi Bhopal Bina links. The generation of Koyna in the 4 stages connected to the Karad and Karad link. So just this is some basic one that all these generating station which we have considered, they are connected with the help of 400 kV transmission line. So these are some generation facilities. Next is another important bulk transmission line corridors is plus minus 500 kV HVDC transmission line. So it is able to transmit the power 1500 megawatt, and this is connected from Chandrapur to Padgi. So as already we have considered, we have discussed, the second method of transmission is the HVDC, high voltage DC transmission system. Without any typings are there, and it is possible, it is economical only when the transmission distance is more than 800 kilometers. So one HVDC transmission line has been laid between Chandrapur to Padge, and it is 500 kV plus minus transmission line, HVDC transmission line, and it is capable to transmit 1500 megawatt power. So this is some basic idea, and no doubt it is a asynchronous tie, because we can connect 2 generating station of the different frequency. The western region is connected to the south region and north region through the DC link, that is a asynchronous link at Bhadravati 100 megawatt power plant and Vindhyachal 100 megawatt 500 megawatt power plant. So these are the synchronous and asynchronous tie those are connected in the region, in the different part of the country. So now today we will stop here, and next time we will see the opportunity of effect controller, effect devices in the transmission line.